Welcome to another powerful edition of Marquee Backstage, All Access. I'm your host, Julie Milam. As always, we are going to dive deep into the lives and music of our guests, and we will share 5 full-length song performances, all of which were recorded at Thunder Sound Studios. Today, we are peeling back all the layers of a Kentucky singer-songwriter who is fondly referred to as Sis. Since her self-released demo album, Homo Femina, Sis has been pulling out the pain of her past and creating masterpieces in song. To start us off on her journey, here is Sis with Lapis.
The facade of my little house I painted as yours just for you to admire all. Can you see the lights flicker through the pain?
That was Lapis by Sis, an emotional journey of her thoughts and emotions. Next, Sis shares her fascination with writing and how having access to a musical instrument transformed her thoughts into words and music. After that, get ready for the harmonious sounds of Saltwater Stretcher. Sis, tell us how you first fell in love with music.
I first started playing music when I was about 10 or 11, but I previously was writing lyrics, and I originally just started writing at a young age, around 6 to 8. I didn't really think of it as poetry or lyric writing. I was just writing what I felt, and my experience, I didn't really think of it like that at a young age. I was just scribbling down stuff. And once I finally got a guitar around age 11, the access to an instrument opened up that world of possibility to create music that I could share with other people instead of having it be like an internal kind of dialogue.
Do you remember any of those first songs that you wrote?
Yeah, sort of. Like, I have a notebook, like a legal pad that was my dad's that I stole and like used to write all these songs on. They were really bad, and my handwriting was awful, like, you know, and then I got into middle school where we have all that perfect kind of weird bubbly writing that we all do. I'm very into languages and like linguistics in general, and I part-time on the side I teach English, and so I'm really interested in learning languages and speaking other languages. So even just the text and like the visual concept and parts of language are interesting to me. Yeah, they were mostly about like wanting to change the world. Like I tried to write love songs. It wasn't really my thing. It felt very like processed, so to speak. I don't know if I remember the names of them necessarily, but they were basically just about wanting to improve the well-being of everyone in the world.
So did you perform those for family? Did you perform those for your friends, or did you just keep those to yourself?
Mostly to myself. I tended to just kind of like sit in my room and just relax and write, which I guess now would be considered like what bedroom pop that genre is. But I was just writing on an acoustic, and that was what I knew. I actually didn't play on electric or anything until a few years ago, when I first was able to kind of start saving up and getting hold of that gear. I'm still learning a lot, but I tend to only write on acoustic, even to this day, and I think that is why.
So do you remember the moment that you first shared one of your songs with someone?
Not necessarily, like not off the top of my head. I have PTSD, and a lot of that memory is like really fuzzy from that time period. And so I tend to kind of like want to avoid thinking about that time period, but very recently I've been exploring that more. I grew up here in Franklin, actually.
Awesome.
So it's kind of interesting to be back.
To come
It
back
brings
to your
back all
roots.
these memories.
I bet.
Exactly.
the eucalyptus, let it scent my car, let it splint the poor disease in us. My favorite pastime, sitting at the cemetery end, listening to men, but why do I never hear myself? Salt water stretcher, giving my brain a reason to adjust. Teeth too tall and a swollen heart that's rotting. I just know it. It's too easy to discuss my empty well of a mind with myself, with no one else. Despite my best attempts, I still don't know what's wrong with me. But I'm mostly antimatter, I can't feel it, I can just feel it. Salt water stretcher, giving my brain a reason to adjust. Teeth too tall and a swollen heart that's rotting. I just know it. Have to lock my dog inside the same four walls I call my sanctuary, just to feel some freedom for myself. In the starving town, the rhythmic path of God syncopates, and I am tired of asking these questions, shouting to help. 'Cause I have thought about the letter I would leave. 'Cause I see prophets fall all the time now. I see citadels of desperate bodies and cells. So don't look at me in my own car like that. I can talk to myself if I wanna. It helps me to feel alive. 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 helps me to feel alive.
We invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Marquee Backstage. There you will find the televised episodes of our show, extensive interview extras, and lots more music. We know you don't want to miss anything from your favorite show, so we encourage you to subscribe now. Up next, Sis talks about her second passion, teaching. As a language teacher, Sis shares her love of teaching English as a second language to students around the world. She'll also explain how her education continues while she learns from her students as well. And stick around for the acoustic sounds of 25 right here on Marquee Backstage, All Access.
Sis, I'm inspired by you choosing to teach as your profession and having that impact on other people. How does that impact your daily life?
I talk to people all over the world every day for the most part, and seeing them tell their stories in great detail, and they tell it in a very simplified way because they're speaking in a second language, or sometimes third or fourth or fifth. And they're all learning English just to get to the level that, you know, we have this luxury over here of being first world speakers, and English is our first language, and they're working so diligently, just like every day. They don't really, you know, get to have downtime of watching TV and relaxing. That time is spent to watch things in English, listen to podcasts, to learn. And it's very inspiring to me to hear what they go through, and even if they are better off in their country and they're able to take these lessons and try to, you know, better themselves. A lot of them are trying to come to America, and it just concerns me that our country has all of these policies that are trying to keep people out and not welcome people with open arms. So daily they're able to kind of prescribe this dose of happiness for me that otherwise wouldn't be present in my life.
You have great compassion and you want to create great change. And I believe that you're doing that. How does that fulfill you personally?
I really don't think I have a choice. Like, I don't like to say it's not my choice because we do live in a relatively free society compared to other parts of the world, and I'm constantly thinking about other places and the vastness of everything. And it used to scare me, and then I realized I could channel it into my music. Having the ability to write things that hopefully truly speak to the humanity in us all is what I try to do.
Sis, you are deeply compassionate. Do you see some of yourself in your students?
I definitely do. They're always very excited and ready to go. Like, I'm a very chill person. Most of my students, they have like a whole notebook full of questions to ask me. Even a lot of them are adults or teenagers, so they're not like necessarily young kids all the time. And it's very empowering to see their energy and to bring that into me. Sorry. To bring that to me is very inspiring.
How did they help nurture your soul?
My students, they vary too. I don't always teach the same students. I think they really bring kind of this, like, the spice of life, so to speak. And when they teach me their language so that we can then translate something in English just to get one small point across, that like simple aspect of human communication that has, you know, altered throughout civilization now we have these few languages and we're still trying to translate, and we're always trying to get something across to one another. And it always reminds me of, when I'm writing my music, it always reminds me of that simple fact that we're trying to just say something to each other that can be as simple as that.
Well, and it has to be fulfilling that they are open to the communication. And I think that's a lot of what's missing in the world, is the fact that they're excited to communicate with you.
I also have students that aren't necessarily excited, like usually older adults in maybe more restricted countries, I'll just say as like a baseline. It's not to say anything bad about these countries, of course. People are just, part of that country, and there's extreme diversity of people everywhere. That's one of the largest lessons I've been taught teaching these students. And when some of the students aren't necessarily, they don't want to talk to me, or they see maybe my haircut, or they can kind of tell I'm not necessarily just like a straight up normal person, as they would maybe put it. And I'm speaking to, my queer identity in that manner. I find that issue when I leave my house and when I leave kind of my own safe communities that I've built in the places I live, even here. But it's sometimes a little disconcerting to hear that from students. But we're always still able to, because they're paying me, I'm there to teach them. We're still able to communicate even in spite of that, and I think that's really beautiful. Sometimes that teaches me a lot more than just the really awesome, amazing students that are ready to learn. So I think it's important to know that there's like good in everything, but there's going to be adversity, and you have to be able to traverse that as well.
And I think you probably are able to help them overcome some of their own insecurities.
Yeah. Yeah, I could say across all my students that that's a general consensus.
What is the greatest lesson that you have taken from this occupation?
Oh, I've also taught art as well, and volunteered more in that realm. And so always be open to what someone else is going to teach you and not what you have to say. That's the main thing. Just keep learning constantly. Keep learning. Take some breaks for yourself.
Be open to it.
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful thing that you constantly are teaching freedom of expression. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know if you see it that way, but just hearing your story, whether it's through art or whether it's through verbal communication and translation, you are encouraging people to be free to express who they are and who they want to be.
Yeah, you always need to own that, and project that out, give love, get love. Yeah.
It definitely works both ways. I'm thrilled to share that with you today.
Thank you.
Some people have to sacrifice way more than the others do, and the others reach and pull and keep on asking, why can't you save yourself? I'm a tiny person. I told him take it easy. He said it's all I can do, and well, I wanna get up. I said you will, 'cause we are tiny persons. Glitter and gold in the far corners of the universe. Batman had to ring him again. Batman threatened to take me to the bed. It's the fall of the western eyes, but I ain't got no line to walk. Do you solemnly swear that you care about us all? And who will you protect? Gotta thank him for cutting our eyes. Gotta beg ourselves not to break down. Don't make enough green paper to care for ourselves. All the rest at best. I'm a tiny person, screaming fire to a jury of mediocre men. But the stairs all burn while our heads are drenched in pixelated sand. Batman had to ring him again. Batman threatened to take me to the bed. It's the fall of the western eyes, but I ain't got no line to walk. Do you solemnly swear that you care about us all? And who will you protect? It's okay to be 25 and not fine. It's okay to live with some family if you need time. It's okay to be 25 and not fine. It's okay to know you're out of money but not time. You are money, you are money, you are money, you are It's okay to be 25 and not fine. It's okay to live with some family if you need time. It's okay to be 25 and not fine. It's okay to know you're out of money but not time. It's okay to be 25 and not fine.
That was 25 by Sis. To enjoy more of her music, make sure to follow her on social media at SisMWest on Facebook and at Sarah HOSIS on Instagram. She is also an accomplished photographer and ceramic potter, so visit her website at sisplease.com to explore all things Sis. We invite you to follow our social media as well at Marquee Backstage. That is where we keep you posted on upcoming guests, new music, exclusive content, and more. We will have one final chat with Sis about her latest EP titled My Nan Called Me Sis. We'll follow that up with an interpretation of new music called Bourbon Shuffle.
All right, sis, let's talk music. You've had great success. Tell us about your current EP.
My current EP was released last year in end of March, April. I did a small regional tour for that. That was one of the most exciting times I've had so far, even though it's all DIY, it's all self, produced. And well, the EP wasn't. Max Erskine from Erskine Studios helped me record and produce that album, and it's 4 songs, and it's called My Nan Called Me Sis, which is where my name comes from. It's exactly. My grandma, my nanny, she always called me that, and a lot of grandmas call their whatevers that. And it was very endearing to me, and I always thought of myself like that, being called that, like as a name. Unfortunately, she passed away, and I kind of went through a really dark period of mental health, and she was able to kind of be the tether, which I speak about in a song on the album called Soul Swings. And she was able to help pull me out of that, and that's kind of where the beginning of my career, so to speak, kind of really began, and I began playing out live after that.
So where do we go from here?
I'm working on an LP, mostly self-produced, probably going to be recording it, some of it at Thunder Sound Studios as well with Max Erskine again, and I'm very excited about that. Most of the songs on this record are about living in Kentucky and Tennessee, and there's like one lyric, like, I grew up towing the state line because I grew up right on the state line on I-65. And I was constantly going back and forth between Kentucky and Tennessee, and I always was like, where am I from? Like, I'm from both places. So as far as this album, I really wanted to just put it all out there, everything I wanted to say that I was too scared to say on the last one, because I was scared. I wish, that's not like something I'm super proud of, because as a songwriter, you try to put everything out there.
You have to work up to that, though. You don't just jump out there and give it all.
Yeah, I can maybe not be so hard on myself. I was really able to channel my own experiences living in not super poverty, but growing up pretty poor, and my parents were always kind of like in and out of work and just being paycheck to paycheck, and that's the reality for so many people. A lot of people don't have, the luxury or the comfort of, choosing, especially politically, like whether they want to vote for this or vote for that. Like, we just have to, like, that is our lifeline. And for other people, they're able to make these decisions for our lives, and it's really frustrating. That's what I talk about a lot on the album, and I really hope I can get my point across to people, and yeah.
There's a lot of hope that comes from security.
Absolutely.
And when you struggle to find that security, there's a lot of imbalance, and there's a lot of frustration.
Stress. And stress is, proven to shorten the length of your life, and obviously just cause a bunch of other health problems. So it's like you don't even get to have the luxury of comfort, and then you also have to deal with all these things that you can't afford.
Right.
It's not to say that, poverty is full of extreme sorrow. There's just as much joy. And I want to also exemplify that side of things as well.
You are totally doing that. And opening up and sharing your heart and sharing your perspective through your music is what will bring so much joy and security to others.
I hope so.
So thank you for giving it your all, girl.
Absolutely.
Right here. Love it. Thank you.
fights of hearts and angry faces, drills holes in our craniums, poor meteor, oh, the grace of freedom. Take our bourbon, mark our shuffling feet, but barely listen to the bluegrass screams. Our twin is drenched in wild whiskey, colored fields, but we roam the cities. Don't you see they like to gentrify us? But the only ones left won't have to pay the price. So thanks for listening, but you still don't care what it's like to live in the state of common lack of wealth. We're caskets of shame, running away from when we think our moral compass might break. Back in the queer USA, dog-eared pages to put me outside of myself, sitting outside, sitting inside my mama's paper rolls, a product and a product my shoulders won't lower till all the stones roll off, roll off. Don't you see they lie to justify us? Don't you see they lie to gentrify us? But the only ones left won't have to pay the price. So thanks for listening, but you still don't care what it's like to live in the shade of the common lack of wealth. will pass, they will pass, they will pass, yes. These days will pass, they will pass, they will pass, yes. These days will pass, they will pass, they will pass, yes. These days will pass, they will pass, these days will pass, these days will pass, these days, these days will pass, these days will pass while we're living in the common like a well.
We want to give a big shout out to our friends at Thunder Sound Studios. Their incredible recording facility is where we make our Marquee Backstage magic. For more information about Thunder Sound, please visit thundersound.com or follow them on social media at Thunder Sound Studio. Once again, we thank you for joining us on Marquee Backstage All Access. Next week, we are picking up the pace with the energetic and charismatic crew that makes up Nordista Freeze. Before we go, we have one final performance from Sis that will leave a lasting impression. It's called Pre-Existing Divisions. I'm your host, Julie Milam, and I'll meet you here next week for more Marquee Backstage All Access.
Only time I ever get depressed is when I realize I can't afford another resting moment of painlessness. Can't afford a ride to the cornfields. Can't afford to watch my friends squeal under an umbrella of usually preventable things that they can't afford, they won't eat at all. And I'm tired of fracking my brains, and I'm tired of shifting my ruins, but it's moving. Spin me down the halls of the ward, waiting for Christ to emit from the halls and fast dread. 25 cent candies waiting patiently in a machine. One day the kids won't have to worry if they are worthy. I'm a cadaver dreamer, potted head, lattice propagates dreams. My mind ain't dead yet, and I grew up towing the state line. Time is a clone that you haven't yet met. neighbors sigh once again at every